What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the Morning Movie Chat. I'm your host, Trinity. Thank you all so much for being here today. I hope you're all having a very good day today here on this Friday. Oh, man. Here we are at the end of another week, right? Friday, April 10th, 2019, or I almost said 2019, 2020. See, that's how crazy it's been. We don't even know what year we're in, folks. Anyway, all beside the point. I hope you're all having a very good day today. I wanted to talk a little bit about Avengers Endgame. You know, a couple of nights ago, I did a live stream. I was out in my garage and I was setting up my road bike, putting it on the trainer out in the garage, so I could ride my trainer out in the garage because it's been raining out a lot here in Southern California. So we don't, and I don't like riding out in the rain. I don't like, if it's raining already. If I'm out riding and it starts raining on me, I have no choice but to ride, right? And it's happened several times. Trust me. Oh man, this one time I was out riding and oh man, what was it? It probably would have been about a 65, probably a 65, 70 mile ride. Um, Ended up going down down through San Francisco Canyon. You got to make a nice little climb to get out to San Francisco. Then it goes down. It's between here and Santa Clarita. You're going down. It's a nice road, and then you make this right, and you go off on this little road that actually recently paved, repaved. It used to be paved before, but it wasn't as nice. So you catch that over there, and then you end up hitting Lake Hughes Road, which runs by Lake Castaic. You you take that and you head back north, Lake Hughes Road. Well, we were coming back, or I say we. It was me. I was all by myself, and so I'm sitting there. I'm getting to Green Valley. I'm a couple miles outside of Green Valley, and it just starts pouring, like downpouring so hard. And I stop at the little store there to get some water, get a drink. And I'm like, crap. I don't want to ride in this. I don't want to ride in this shit. I'm like, I'm just gonna call my wife. And then I'm like, well, then I'm gonna call my wife. She's gonna come get me. I'm gonna be sitting out there waiting in the rain the whole time. Even if I go in the store, I'm gonna have to sit there and wait for her. And then I'm gonna get in the car and be all drenched and wet and everything. So I went ahead and just rode home. And it sucked because it was coming down. Oh man, it was coming down hard, man. It was coming down hard. But I went ahead and did it. And but like I said, I don't like to go out while it's raining. Like if I'm out riding, there's not much I can do. Anyway, so I set it up out in the garage yesterday or a couple days ago, and then I was out riding the trainer yesterday. Put in 90 minutes on the trainer, and I was watching Avengers Endgame, and I was rewatching, and I'm sitting there like when you go into something knowing a little bit more now than you did then. You have a lot more to ponder on. It makes you wonder and notice different things that are in the movie that you didn't really notice before because maybe you weren't looking for them. And thank you everybody so much for being here. If you're here, make sure you smash the like button. Right? Aren't you supposed to hit the like button? There's one thing they don't tell you. If you guys are out there starting a YouTube channel, I'm telling you, I haven't been doing this for very long, but one thing they do not tell you is that when you get monetized on YouTube, is they actually send somebody to your house every time you go to do a live stream, and they stand there in the corner and make sure that you say, make sure to like and subscribe and hit that thumbs up and then turn on the bell for notifications. There's actually somebody right over here. You can't see them, but they're here, and they make you say that stuff. Believe me, I hate saying that. I hate saying that stuff. That's like stupid shit. Like you're on YouTube. You know what you're doing. Don't play dumb. But anyway, thank you all so much for being here. Let's see who all we got here. We got Fanjecture says Stark is alive. Yeah, dude, look, you see. I know somebody got me started over there on the Den of Nerds live about the Stark sham, but hey, I was just playing around. It's all good. I was even wearing my Stark shirt today, and in honor of Tony Stark and his sacrifice, right? Because he sacrificed himself, right? Right? Laughable. Anyway, okay, we'll get into that. We're gonna get into that. Speaking of which, the other day I was talking about a TV show that's on Sci-Fi called Vagrant Queen. It's a comic book put out by Vault Comics, and they recently did a TV series, and it's on Sci-Fi. So if you have Sci-Fi, you should go watch that. Go check it out. I caught episode 1, and then like I downloaded it on my phone, and I never got around to watching it. I went to watch it last night, and all of a sudden, like the video was private, like on my YouTube. I was gonna watch it in the room on the YouTube, and and it's private now. It's like, dang it, but I had it downloaded on my phone, so and it wouldn't let me watch it, so I just turned on airplane mode since it was downloaded and watched it, and it was decent. It was a decent show. Um, I mean, for what it is, I haven't read. I read issue number 1 of the comic book because it was free. I was talking about that yesterday, and yeah. Anyway, I thought it was an okay show. We'll talk a little bit about that at some point. Boshti, hello, how are you doing? Stormbreaker 821. LB says, is that a mic above your head? Oh yeah, probably so. Oh yeah, it must be dipping. Must be dipping. There we go. That better? There we go. But yes, that is. That is. That's exactly what that is. Um, I know. What a noob. What a noob. Well, it's just right there by the camera. The camera's right there. It's just, yeah. I think I must have hit it on my way in this morning. Um, let's see. Captain Pennsylvania is here. Yeah, Coachella Coastal, USMC Rebels. James, thank you so much for being here. XR Coon, Den of Nerds Live. I am Two Skills. Thank you all so much for being here. Wayne White says, hi, friends. Sorry I'm late to the party, but mother showed up to say hi from a distance. She didn't get out of her car, and I stayed in the doorway to our house, but we got to say hello. Fair enough. Fair enough. All good. All good. Um, yeah, actually recently had a couple friends stop by to pick up some nuts. As a matter of fact, you remember yesterday I was talking about my business and that kinds of stuff. I went ahead and I did some videos yesterday on my business page. You should go down to check down in the links below. There's some. You should go check it out. The Peanut Peddler, here on YouTube. That's fine. Yeah. Anyway, I did that. I thought it was kind of fun. It was fun. Wanted to try some different stuff like that. Um, Hang your likes up on the way in. Yes, definitely. Lavas Blackman, thank you so much for being here. Marvel Maniac. Um, Anthony Manzano says, second stream Marvel question. Who would you want to direct a Century movie in the MCU? A Century movie. So we're thinking something cosmic here. I don't know. That's a good question. That's a good question. Because here's one thing. Most of all that the MCU has done for the most part is they try to get smaller directors. You know what I mean? Like younger directors, not as well known. They don't just go out there for the bigger names out there, the more experienced people. Like for Doctor Strange 2, they've obviously they got Sam Raimi. That's like he's probably one of the bigger ones they've got. Probably the biggest one they've got. I mean, honestly, because I mean, you think Jon Favreau started everything off. You've had oh man, did the first Thor movie? What's his name? Man, why all of a sudden am I forgetting? Sir. Oh, shit, you got me. But him. I guess Joe Johnston. Wasn't it Joe Johnston who did the first Captain America? I mean those are just like the bigger names that they've got. That's really about it. I mean James Gunn, he wasn't like that big when he was coming in. Edgar Wright would have been a great one, man. It would be great to see him actually do something, but I don't know. As far as like a century movie on its own, I'm not for sure. I'm not for sure. They need to, like I said, they need. I'm used to them getting younger, lesser known directors, and that's what I'd like to see them get. Like, here's one to trigger LB. How about get the guys who did the new Bad Boys movie? Get them to do it. Yeah. I I want the child actor in Jojo Rabbit to play Iron Lad. I haven't seen Jojo Rabbit yet. Um, I haven't seen that yet. Start singing Creed. Sacrifice. The Godfather says Taika is going to keep Jojo for Thor 4. Jojo. Yeah, I see what you're saying. The Godfather, welcome. Thank you so much for being here, Vlad Riot. How are you doing? Yeah, bro, much better. No bad production over here. Yeah. I must have hit that on my way in. And thanks for letting me know, man. Yeah, for sure. I'm fine. Get more coffee. Yeah. Plenty of coffee here. M. Night Shyamalan. M. Night Shyamalan. You know what? He's a good director. The thing is they definitely need to have a good writers with him. Like, say get the Stephen Marcus and Christopher Marcus and Stephen McFeely. Christopher Marcus. Yeah, Christopher Marcus and Stephen McFeely. Get them to write the script for him, and then definitely make sure you have a producer there, somebody there to keep him in line. To keep him in line. But of course, we know that Kevin Feige kind of really keeps everything on a tight leash anyway. So, I think M. Night Shyamalan would be good, but he's kind of a bigger, more well-known name out there. I wouldn't see that happening, but I'm down with it. I like Shyamalan. Duty Reviews, thank you so much for being here. Guys, go check out Duty Reviews channel, man. Twist, Century is really a superhero, just no one can remember. Boom, Shyamalan brilliance. Right? Yeah. Anthony Mazzano says, Second Street, what's your opinion on this? I was talking to Josh on his stream, and I said Chris Columbus for Young Avengers because he directed Harry Potter. Chris Columbus. What all has he done? He's done a lot, hasn't he? If I'm thinking of the right am I thinking of the right Christopher Columbus here? I'm pretty sure I'm thinking of the right Chris Columbus here. Let's get on here and check this out. We'll get on here and check this one out. Because, like, for me, like, I'm not one of those people. I don't like fans, I like fan casting and all that crap. I'm not into that. Nah. I'm not into fan casting. Chris Columbus. Okay. All filmography. Director. Let's go back to the start. Adventures in Babysitting. Okay, I thought it was the same Christopher Columbus. Adventures in Babysitting, Home Alone, Heartbreak Hotel. You know what? Honestly, I don't know. He's probably one of those names too that's too big. Too big of a director for the MCU. It'd be interesting to see his take on something though. Because he's directed a lot of great movies. I mean, movies that I grew up watching. So I think that'd be interesting. But again, I'm not really into the fan casting and all that stuff. So Century is a hot mess. Just read him ripping areas apart and scenes. Yeah. He really don't. Yeah, he's great. Curtis YZ, thank you so much for being here. Let's see. I'd rather see Blue Marvel movie over Century. Oh, yeah. And honestly, both would be cool. I mean, there's so many characters out there. I mean, they've got time. Just bring it on. Just bring it on. Bring the sexy back. He discovered America. Oh, man. All right. Yeah, he discovered America. All right, guys. So the one thing I did want to talk about, and speaking of which, like I said, Vagrant Queen is out there. Go check it out. It's a comic book. Also, you can even, I was talking about that yesterday on Vault Comics. I'll talk more about that some other time. But today we're going to talk about Avengers Endgame. I was rewatching it, and I was noticing just some different things. One of my favorite videos that I've done. Here, let me drop this here in the chat. I'm going to drop this. See if I can get on here, and I want to drop this link for you guys for one of the videos that I did a while back, and it's one of my favorite videos I did. I've been wanting to do more of these videos in the first place because just like a character study type of video, and I wanted to do one on the Winter Soldier. But this one right here that I just dropped there in the chat is from is a character study I kind of did video I did on Thor, and I was talking about his about him in Avengers Endgame and just kind of how a lot of people didn't like Fat Thor and everything. I did that video. Go check it out. I'll talk about that in a few minutes, but. I'm totally cool with what happened to Thor in Avengers Endgame and that whole story arc and everything like that. I know a lot of people didn't like it, but honestly, a lot of it makes a lot of sense. And there's so many different things in this movie. Like I think some people just don't realize and don't think about when they're there watching movies like this, because it's like, you know, you want to be there, you want to have fun, you want to see a great superhero movie with a lot of action and things like that, and you don't expect a movie that has all these deep layers and things inside of it at the same time. You know what I mean? And that's the thing, is a lot of people talk about Fat Thor like, oh, you know, like, oh, they didn't like it, you know, they wanted, you know, fit Thor and all that stuff. But then, you know, you get some of the people who out there who are talking about, just like I talked about in my video about his depression and stuff like that. And some people say, oh, it just makes fun of people with it and all this and that. And but it really doesn't. It really doesn't. There are so many things going on in this movie. Like for instance, obviously we know when they all finally get the stones. They go after the stones and they're getting ready to go pull their time heist off. Each one of those characters is paired up with exactly the person they're supposed to be paired up with. You know what I mean? Like with the Thor thing, I think I seen that stuff coming a mile away. You know, like when in the theater, and I've talked about this before, in the theater when the very first time I seen it and Thor finally went for the head. I wasn't one of those people in the theater cheering. I was like, yeah. Like I sat there like everything leading up to that point in the movie, it just set up. Man, I'm telling you, it's like a masterclass in some of these things. Though it's not the greatest film of the Avengers films. That's Infinity War. Anyway, it swung the emotion and everything leading to that was just leading to something you could tell was going to be bad. The pacing of a lot of the things leading up to the point where he chopped off Thanos' head set up a really uncomfortable situation. It was just very tense, and then that happened, and then you see him walk away from the camera, man, and it's like the music that's playing is so dramatic, and you can tell, like even the trembling in his voice, man, like you can, like it's so deep, it's such like really, it's great directing, it's great acting by Chris Hemsworth here, and great directing, and just a great musical score here. In this point, I'm telling you, it's just fucking beautiful. The way everything is done at this point, you could tell at that second it wasn't what needed to be done. You could tell he instantly regretted even doing what he had done. He got for however long it was. They waited before, what was it, a couple weeks or so, when they waited, and finally went and got their revenge on him, right? And he knew it was for nothing in that instant. He knew that chopping off Thanos' head did nothing the second he did it. He knew he instantly regretted doing it, because he just made it a rash decision in the heat of the moment. And if you've never done something like this, maybe you don't understand. You may not understand. A lot of people don't get that. You know what I mean? And I understand that. But that's the thing, is everything there just leading up to it. I knew it wasn't anything good that happened, and then finally we see Fat Thor later. Everything that he's gone through. People are like, oh, they're making fun. They're not. They're not making fun of anything, because then later you see, people were talking about when they finally get back to, gosh, what would that, I can't remember what year that was, when they went back to see Jane Foster and get the red sludge, right? I know somebody earlier called it a stone, but it's not actually a stone. Anyway, they went back for that, and when he's there with Rocket Raccoon, and Rocket sits there and slaps him, and he's talking trash. A lot of people were kind of like, oh, they're poking fun of his like his depression and all that stuff, and it's like, no, it's not that. You know what it is Thor is there in his depression and being down and everything. And he's there with the person that he needs to be there with, and that's Rocket. For one, Rocket was it was like they really just kind of switched roles from what they were in the previous film, right? But not only that, Rocket was the one that needed to be there with him because he is the sarcastic kind of asshole in that way. He was the person that needed to be there. That with that jaded sort of attitude, um, to bring Thor back. Even though Rocket knows exactly what he's going through, and that's part of the thing. But that's part of it, though, is you need that balance. You know, for all those people out there who are are like that, like the negative Nancy's. You got to have the positive Polly's, right? I just came up with that. You know what I'm saying, though. Like there's always got to be a balance, and right here we got a guy that's depressed with another guy who's been there in the same exact thing, but he's the one that's gonna his ability to know that situation at the same time and be able to contrast Thor and try to get him to work with him and get him to snap out of it is what was needed at that point in time, and it's kind of that balance that we need in our lives anyway. You know what I mean? In being able to weigh emotions and just our humility. You know what I'm saying? It's a perfect contrast because then you can also look at the fact that they teamed Rhodey up with Nebula, and exactly the scene when they're minutes later when they're there on Morag in the vault. When she reaches in and grabs and grabs the orb and her hands all jacked up and she hands it to him and she's like, I wasn't always like this, and they sit there and they start relating. And she's like, I wasn't always like this, and he's like, hey, me neither, but we do what we can with what we've got, right? The same thing. The right people in all these situations were paired together perfectly. You know what I mean? It wasn't by coincidence or anything like that, because all that balance was needed there. And Rocket Raccoon, and people can say they were making fun of all this. I really don't think they were making fun of any of it. If anything, they were showing the perfect contrast and the perfect balance that is really actually needed in the world. You know what I mean? I don't really know how else to explain that right now, but that's really what it displayed. And then obviously, when you go to 2012, when all the Avengers were there in New York, all of those people were there in the same situation together for all the right reasons. You know what I mean? They were all just paired together. And obviously, we don't even have to talk about Natasha and Clint Barton being paired together. I mean, that just seems obvious, right? But yeah, I was sitting there thinking about that last night. Something that a lot of people may not get, may not understand. That's why I say a lot of people didn't like the Fat Thor thing. But what did you think about it? What did you think about Fat Thor? Did you watch my video? I dropped it there in the chat earlier. Okay, I dropped it there in the chat. Go watch it. Don't go watch it right now. Just wait till later. But copy and paste, or click it, and then go click save to play a playlist or something to watch later or something, and then get right back here. All right, just do it. But yeah, okay. Let's see here. Let's get back into the chat here. Chris from Chaos and Comics says Ghost Rider is difficult. I'm reading Volume 2 with Danny Ketch. How familiar are you with Ghost Rider? I'm not super familiar with Ghost Rider. With Ghost Rider, I honestly don't see Ghost Rider in the MCU. Just because for me, I think for Ghost Rider, just like Punisher, it has to be rated R, man. There's no sidestepping that. Just kind of what they're dealing with and all that kind of stuff. The kind of graphic violence, really, more than anything, that needs to happen to do a Ghost Rider justice, to do a Punisher justice. Like, you could cross a Ghost Rider and a Punisher into the larger MCU movies, just like I feel you can Deadpool. I feel you can cross them over into all these films, and and still do that. If that's what you're talking about. If that's what you're talking about. Um, as far as adapting them to the movies, if that's what you're talking about there, Chris. Um, Jojo Rabbit might be one of my favorite movies ever. Yeah, I've still got to see it. I've heard it was good. I love Fat Thor. I hope he says I like Fat Thor. I mean, I want regular Thor back, but I don't mind Fat Thor. I had the video to watch later. Awesome. Avengers movie is a clear sign they don't know Nordic mythology at all. Avengers movie. Which Endgame. Is that what you're talking about? Yeah. Well, I mean, it's come on now. Aggressively relaxing says MCU is the biggest game in town, but also simultaneously too small for big directors. It's not that Spielberg and Cameron wouldn't do a Moon Girl movie. It's just that they have their own ideas. Well, yeah, as I'm saying, well, and that's the thing is the MCU for the most part goes after smaller directors, more indie type directors, and I know why they do it. It's obvious. I mean, because Kevin Feige likes to have the control, but also they get somebody in there to give them more experience with a bigger budget, and probably because they like something that they've seen of their work previously. Obviously, but yeah, I mean the bigger directors like a Sam Raimi, while Kevin Feige obviously has a story that he once told within the confines of this. I guarantee he's probably gonna have a little less oversight into that, while also having oversight. You know what I mean? There's gonna be a little more trust there, but that don't still mean that Sam Raimi isn't still doing what Kevin Feige wants. That's just kind of what Kevin Feige does. But it works for them in that sense with the smaller directors, with the less well known directors, because then I mean, if you think about it, there's not as much pushback, but you still get their essence of that director in the film of what they do. So it's a lot of give and take, but for if anything, it's a lot more give than take when it comes to being a director in the MCU for sure. Second Street, if I wanted to start reading comics specifically, Ghost Rider and Moon Knight, what runs do you recommend for those two characters? I honestly wouldn't know. I honestly wouldn't know that, Anthony Menzano. I wouldn't know. I haven't read any Moon Knight specific books, and Ghost Rider. I've only read a couple of the recent issues, and that's really about it. They were never really my thing. Back in the day. Like I was like Spider Man. Spider Man was the character that I always liked. Then became and obviously like Wolverine, but still didn't have a whole lot of his books. But for the most part, it was always Spider Man when I was growing up. And then recently, it's been like I've been reading a bunch of the different not a bunch of different Marvel characters, but like Captain America, Captain Marvel, Amazing Spider Man, the recent Thor series. And then keeping up with some of the other different mini series that have been coming out with like the Black Widow, the Invisible Woman. I've heard the Immortal Hulk is pretty good. I haven't read it though. And Daredevil, heard Daredevil is good. Of course, Chip Zdarsky is writing that one. Yeah, I mean that's just like a no-brainer, right? But as far as those two characters, I'm not really familiar with them to be able to say. Curtis YZ says Fat Thor was funny, and a lot of people didn't like Thor regular, so it was a funny twist to me. Yeah, totally. When you drop in that Captain Marvel video, bruh? Ah, man. Next. One of these days when I actually sit down and write it and think about it, I need to think it all out. You know what I mean? I need to think it all out. I loved the out of shape Thor. It was funny. Yeah, me too. I thought it was good. Captain Marvel video. Yeah, well, really, the Captain Marvel video is the title. I've got the title. I've got the perfect title. It's called Saving Captain Marvel, but like I've got the idea. Just because the video I want to do really involves a lot, and I don't know how to get some of it done. I don't know how to get some of it done, to be quite honest with you. I'm gonna have to. I gotta dig into my repertoire of video editing and producing skills here. There's a good character development for Thor. I reckon he'll have been on the Slim Fast by Thor 4. Yeah. I hated when Thor when Thor cut the head off. Seeing I liked it, but I mean, at the same time, just because of what it did in there. How do we feel about New Warriors? Haven't read it. Haven't read it. I can't feel any way about it. It's laughable. It's laughable, definitely. But I haven't read it. The Jeff Lemire run on Moon Knight is awesome. There you go, right there. Jeff Lemire run. And I know Jeff Lemire, from what I hear, is a good writer. I haven't really read a whole lot of his work. So, but yeah, definitely know the name. I don't know about Ghost Rider, though. Chris says, I really like the current Ghost Rider run. It has both Danny Ketch and Johnny Blaze. Yeah, I was gonna say I think I read like the first 2 or 3 issues there. It was okay. It was okay. I don't think he regretted killing Thanos. Actually, he did though. He did. He did regret killing Thanos. He regretted killing Thanos when he killed Thanos because it was too late. He knew it was too late. There was nothing he could do by then. That's why he went down that path. Is because he instantly regretted killing Thanos right there. He instantly regretted it. 100%. There's no denying that. That's what led to his depression and just everything that happened to him throughout the course of the film that we don't really see. It was the regret because he knew it was already too late. He should have killed him when he had the chance before Thanos did the snap, and he knew it. It did him no good. That's why he ended up where he was at. Yo, Perry Comics, what's up, my brother? How are you doing? You guys, make sure you go check out Perry's channel. He's been doing a rewatch of all the MCU movies. Actually, not even a rewatch. He's been doing this is what do you call it? A millennial's first time viewing of the MCU films. Is that what? Go check it out though, guys. Perry Comics. Great YouTuber. Very cool dude too, man. And you got to go check out his videos. They're great. I've been checking those out. He did Iron Man. He did Thor. He did Captain America. Go check out his videos, guys. Go check them out. Damn, I didn't see this. Rocket Raccoon, true comic guy. I never make decisions when I'm angry. I'm so effing happy. I can see the regret in his eyes, though. Yeah. Totally. I mean, it's just everywhere. It's just all around. I mean, yeah. It's just great. Just great filmmaking. Just great filmmaking. Damn. Positive Polly's. Yeah. I didn't think he wanted to kill him. Just smack him about a bit. Yeah. Well, the thing is, he wanted revenge so bad at that point. That's the thing. He wanted it so bad, and he got it, and he instantly knew that it did no good. It did absolutely no good. He wanted him dead before that, and that was the thing, is that he realized in that instance, like, it did, he might as well he should have just let Thanos live, because and just the way in which it happened, you got the guy completely pinned down, he's going nowhere, nothing's gonna happen, he ain't doing nothing. Thanos wasn't harming anybody at that point, he wasn't gonna do shit. And he made that decision in the heat of the moment, thinking that it would do something, and instantly he knew it wouldn't. It didn't. It was pointless. Yeah. I can understand why Thor had such a breakdown. A lot of shit went down for his. Oh yeah, totally. He lost literally everything. He literally lost everything. And that's not even to say anything about like his people. But I mean, think about, Asgard and all that stuff. Just, yeah, I mean, and his people. But everything else, everything that he really just loved was gone. Was gone at that point. Completely gone. Perry Comics hasn't seen Endgame. No. He has. Yeah, damn, I didn't see it. Yeah, he hasn't seen it yet. Yeah. Lava's Blackman says, gasp. Gods are above human emotions. They don't break down, silly movie makers. But obviously we can see that's not true because he fell in love with Jane Foster. Do it. Not yet, Captain. Currently just watched Avengers. For the first one. Yeah. And that's a good one too. The first Avengers is a great one. Like I said, Perry, you got to watch all of them too. You got to watch all of them, and that's what he's doing is watching all of them. It looks like on the release schedule how they came out, and you have to do that because by the time you get to Infinity War and Endgame, you get all of it. You know what I mean? You understand everything. And Perry, did you get to watch Hulk yet? Did you watch Hulk? I couldn't remember if you did, if you got Hulk. Let me know, Perry. Let me know if you got to watch Hulk. Get at me, bruh. Get at me. Um, that's like saying I never saw X-Men 1. Yeah. Yeah, no, he hasn't seen any of them. Dog School, thank you for being here. Thor just makes no sense. There's absolutely no historical examples of warriors who become kings growing older and fatter. It's effing stupid. I know. It's ridiculous. Ridiculous, I say. Do you think there'll be blood in the Disney Blade movie, Trinity? Well, I mean, I don't see why not. The thing I mean, we seen what they did in Avengers Endgame with Ronan. While not great Japanese swordplay and stuff, it was it was very interesting because it was pretty violent and pretty graphic for a PG-13 movie. So will they do that in the Blade movie? I think they'll definitely push the. I think they'll definitely push the. They'll push the envelope as far as they can. Absolutely, absolutely. I think they will. Yeah. But will it be a lot? No, no. Because I mean, just clever editing can get you around a lot. You know what I mean? Like I said, you go and hack somebody up with your sword or something. You know, just some clever editing will get you by some of that. But when you're like say using a gun like the Punisher would, blasting people and people's arms, you know, you should have bullet holes and blood flying everywhere. You can't really clever edit that out whatsoever unless you show the fact that there's nobody. You show the person getting shot off of screen. You just show somebody shooting a gun. The person is getting shot off screen. Then later you see a dead body there, but they still got to be covered in blood. So that's and all gnarled up. You know what I mean? So, yeah. But the Blade movie, I think, is possible because you can hack somebody up and you know them fall. But again, if you show the body, you're gonna have to show them some blood and stuff. So I mean, yeah, that's the tricky thing. You know, you've got to get through that the person actually gets killed with the blades and things like that, and get all that across because that for me that's one thing that never really worked in like the original like some of the X-Men films when Wolverine is sitting there hacking through people with his claws, and there's not blood flying everywhere, limbs just flying. Like, dude, it should have been a bloodbath. It's a little unrealistic. So by the time you get to like a Logan and stuff like that, when you see, you know, when they went, you know, full on, like that's like okay, that's what needs to be seen because that's the realistic version of what happens. Comic Jabroni is in the house. What's up, Jabroni? How you doing? How about how about Charles the Fat? Charles the Fat. What? Um, George the Fourth was also a fatty. Oh man, and guys, Comic Jabroni's here in the house. Make sure you guys go check out his channel as well, man. Jabroni's a great guy as well. Great comic book YouTuber, and he does his videos that he's been doing are great. He does his whole little intro skits on some of his reviews. Oh hey, what's up YouTube? Great stuff, man. Great. Catch him in the middle of taking a nap. Catch him in the middle of grilling. Great stuff. Haven't read Ghost Rider since the Renaissance. How about Fat Captain Marvel? Latest Ghost Rider been good. Yeah, I thought I'm not really into it, but I thought like issue number 2 of the Ghost Rider was really good. I liked that second one where they were sitting there going at it. That was great. Sam Raimi's whole thing is he delivers what he is hired to deliver without ego. Perfect for the MCU. For like studio stuff, yeah. I mean, you can see well. even his Spider-Man film, you could see, like, while they obviously had some oversight, I think a lot of that was really him. You could see he was really passionate about the project. But I mean, and I think that that's what it is his really more his really deep familiarity and being a fan of this stuff in the first place, which is why Kevin Feige does what he does and overseeing so much, because you can tell he's really nerdy about this stuff. You know what I mean? So I mean, there's that, because we see there's a lot of other people who may not have the same level of passion towards making these films as, say, a lot of the old comic book fans have for them, have for the characters themselves. Um, flying slow and glowing figure, flying slow and uh, Jing glowing figure. I must have missed something there. I just picked up Marvel Spotlight number 5 for $4. Nice. I think is that the bigger ones? I can't remember which ones the Marvel Spotlights are. Fat Man and Robin, bro. We're nerds, so I'm sure we have friends that can do what you need. Oh, as far as what? Oh, I can't remember. Oh, yeah, I know what you're talking about. Yeah, okay. Yeah, it's probably because I'm so behind on the chat here. So behind on the chat. Oh, seeing it just skipped on me too. I just watched CW episode 8. Is that? Oh, Clone Wars. Yeah, I haven't watched any of those Star Wars cartoons, man. I haven't watched any of that. Jay Blitz comment says, "What's up, Second Street? How are you? I think Blade is going to do the movies justice, just because Disney knows and understands the MCU movies are more for the adults. I don't think MCU movies do know that. I don't think they're doing. I think they're doing the whole appeal to a wide audience like they should. I wouldn't say geared necessarily towards adults. But I think that they're going to do the Blade movie in a way that it'll be good. I think it'll be good, and they can make it more adult oriented while still making it kid friendly. I think it's just going to be hard. It's just going to be hard for him to do. It's going to be a tough challenge for him to do that. Unstoppable cockblocker in the house. And they want to appeal to the fans. Plus, they know and see all the shit we say, and they want to make sure they do it right and appeal to us. And you can't have a vampire movie without blood. I'm telling you, man. They're good. They're gonna try it, man. They're gonna try it. I guarantee it. But obviously, I mean, they're gonna have to make some decisions when it comes to that kinds of stuff, because they don't like going that full, like going rated R. We can even see with Avengers Endgame, they really pushed the envelope, but that's really, I think that's about as far as it can be pushed without it going to rated R. And to me, that's not doing a Blade movie justice, or let alone a Punisher movie. Let alone, to me, you ask me, I think even thinking about a Black Widow movie, without a lot of that happening, is going to be hard to do. But I guess we'll see how it goes in Black Widow's movie. Seen all except Captain Marvel and anything else come out. Spidey 2. I'm kind of done with the MCU, and Endgame was my marker. I'll see good looking ones like Black Widow depending on reviews. Yeah. Hey, I get it. A lot of people, and MCU did themselves no favors in their marketing when they said that it's the culmination of the 10 years, and it is an end game and all that kinds of stuff. To me, that kind of puts it in people's heads too. You know what I mean? I'm considering doing a series of videos on the Marvel epic collections of stories from the 60s and then eventually 70s, 80s, and so on. Do it, Wayne. Do it. Do it. Do it. Yeah, you should absolutely do it. Sam Raimi is extremely passionate about his films. Oh yeah, totally. I have a ton of the books and thought, why not? Yeah, absolutely, Wayne. Absolutely. Do it. Marvel Spotlight is the first appearance of Ghost Rider. Oh, okay. Nice. For $5, huh? Good deal. I'm not sure what that's worth, but it's got to be worth something, I would think. Disney's Blade equals My Little Vampire 2021. Oh, man. Is there a way you can have a really violent PG-13 movie without making the movie rated R in the MCU? They won't like doing it, but look at what Quentin Tarantino did in, say, like Kill Bill. While there is a lot of violence in there. There's a lot of simulated violence that he does in a lot of his movies, and they did stuff like that, like in Kill Bill, like when she was smashing the that dude's head in the door. You know, like you can see it and you can feel it, but it flashes away every time. But you know that it's happening, but you feel it. Just like a lot of when people get shot in his movies. You know what I mean? You know, when you see Frank Whaley get blasted on, Ezekiel 25:17, the path of the righteous man is beset on all sides by the iniquities of the selfish and the tyranny of evil men. Blessed is he who in the name of charity and goodwill shepherds the weak through the valley of darkness, for he is truly his brother's keeper and the finder of lost children. And I will strike. Okay, you get me, right? They did all that, but again, it's a rated R movie though. It's a rated R movie. I just don't see him being able to do it, man. I just don't see him being able to do it. I don't. Not for me as a fan. For what I want to see and what I think these characters are. Punisher, forget about it. You're not making a Punisher, a PG-13 Punisher, and satisfying me. Absolutely no way to do it. Will I like it? Maybe. But am I going to be satisfied? Absolutely not. You can't do it. You can't do it. Punisher movie, he's got to be going through brutally murdering people, bunch of gun violence, bang, 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 shoot 'em up. Thomas Jane Punisher, it's actually pretty decent. Punisher Warzone, I still need to see it. Dolph Lundgren Punisher, it's got to be, I mean, I'm telling you, man, Punisher is, you know, where I think a Deadpool can be done PG-13, I think he's still done better done rated R. I think he's like in crossing over to the MCU. He can be in a PG-13 film, but his movies need to be rated R. It's just they do. Same thing with like Wolverine. You know, are they gonna do the same thing? You know, in the X-Men, yeah. But you know, because like Cyclops, you could see him killing people, and when you know there's limbs flying and everything. Well, there's an argument easily made that he's shooting him with little laser beams, so it's cauterizing wounds at the same time, right? So there's no need for blood. But Wolverine lopping off somebody's arm, that's bloody. That's bloody. It's bloody. Blade could use a reboot as good as it was, but do it already being a big success. They better do it justice. Oh yeah, absolutely. It will be done. I have spoken it. Spoken. It is the way. There you go. Do it, Wayne. Do it. Very hyped for Phase 4. XR Kun, I am too. The slate of movies and everything, it doesn't look exciting, but I'm waiting for it. I can't wait for it. I'm hyped for it. Would you rather have had a young Blade in the MCU instead of Mahershala Ali? No, I'm fine with Mahershala Ali. That's fine, you know. Yeah, that's fine. Buck didn't like to to fucking with him after he smashed his head in that door. Yeah, right. Yeah, he didn't. Buck did not like to after that. Oh man, that's funny. Yeah, the soft pun. Yeah, the Punisher, man, he's soft in the Warzone pun. Warzone isn't bad. I like Thomas Jane's performance a lot though. Yeah, I liked the Thomas Jane one. Warzone was good though. I needed to see the Warzone one still. But okay, guys, there was some other stuff that I also wanted to talk about in this Avengers Endgame. I was noticing some stuff. You know, there's some other things in here, and I've talked a lot about this too. About Black Widow being dead in the MCU. Maybe that's why Hulk couldn't snap her back, because she wasn't dead, right? By whatever means that is. Maybe she was reborn in the Red Room as a clone of herself with implanted memories, just like in the comics. Or maybe she just wasn't dead. Also, Tony Stark, man, I'm telling you, we seen Tony Stark die, and it hurt us all, and yeah, we felt it and everything. It was emotional, everybody, right? I'm telling you, man. I've talked about this before, and I've got something else to talk about, because let me know. Do you guys think that perhaps mutants were actually hinted at in Avengers Endgame? I think they were. I think they may have been. I think maybe the children of the atom were mentioned. Maybe in a roundabout way. in Avengers Endgame. Getting back to Tony Stark. Is he actually dead? Tony Stark don't do anything without taking out an insurance plan. He don't just make something and not test it himself and put it to the test. Every single thing that he's done, he's tested. The only thing he really didn't test was his first Iron Man suit, the Mark 1, because he was in a situation he didn't even really have time for a test run. But every single thing else, he makes it and he takes it out without it being fully tried and tested, right? And we see that when he invents time travel. For one, we see in the movie that when they come up with the successful model, it's still not even 100%. I think it stopped at 99.7 something. Like go back and watch it. It shows it in there. It shows it at 99. So it's still not 100% right in the first place. Okay? It still wasn't a 100% guaranteed. It was just a successful working model. For one. Two, you think Tony Stark took his newly invented time machine to Avengers headquarters with everybody so they could go on this mission without testing it for himself to see if it worked and taking out an insurance policy? You think that Stark wouldn't have been smart enough to be able to see that he could get maybe an alternate version of himself, that it wouldn't matter? Because if you go back in time and change your time and all that stuff, we'll get to that at some point. That he couldn't have got another version of himself that did all the same things, and he was able to lie low and still be alive and stay under the radar? I think he went and tested this shit out for himself. I think there's something more going on here. But also, if you think about it, that future hadn't happened yet when he snapped his fingers. He could have seen that and known it was going to happen. But, when Cap is sitting there giving his speech before they're getting ready to go back in time, and several other spots as they're going along doing these things, he's kind of giving these smirks. Like he knows what's going to happen. He knows the outcome of things that are going to happen. You know what I mean? When he's sitting there, Cap's giving his speech before they all get ready to go back in time to pull off the time heist, he gives this look to Cap. Like he knows exactly what's going to happen. He knows the future. Like he knows that he's going to end up going through and snapping and everything is going to be sacrificed and everything like that. It's like he knows the Cap is right. And he has that comfort. And that he also knows that he's not going to die neither. Tony Stark don't just invent shit and just go use it all willy-nilly. Well, he uses it all willy-nilly. He does that. But on his own, he goes and experiments with it himself. Every single instance we see in the MCU, that's what he does. Just recklessly goes out and tries it, right? And that's what he did. And we can see, which kind of made me wonder too. I was thinking about something else with the stones. If they had those two stones, if they had the time stone and the space stone, could they just time travel? Because if you think about it, time and space, when he comes back to the Avengers headquarters and he's talking to Steve Rogers there in front of Avengers headquarters. He's like, I did it, I fixed it. And he's showing this little, he says, I fixed it. And he said, I made a successful time space GPS. Time stone, space stone, bam. Couldn't you essentially travel through time if you had the time stone and the space stone to anywhere you wanted throughout the multiverse or anything just like that as well. You would think, okay, yeah, you could with just the time stone, but not necessarily. Not necessarily. I mean, you could obviously, but with the space stone, you're allowed to do a little bit more. A little bit more. Um, but it just made me think about that. Um, but anyway. So I think that Tony Stark actually, he took out that insurance plan. Man, and plus it's the MCU and this is Marvel. Can we ever really count anybody out as dead 100%? And I just always question these things, man. I just always question these things. Like that was a good heartfelt scene, but they're easily out of this by saying that Tony Stark is not dead. He took out an insurance policy. I'm quite sure of it. Quite sure of it. I don't know. What do you guys think? I think there's that. There was something else I mentioned too. Also when they went back in time, when they went back to the 70s, in those cases where they had the Tesseract locked up, it seemed a little odd that there was. I'd have to go back and pay maybe a little more attention to it. I was out in the garage watching it on my little projector on the wall in the garage as I was on my trainer riding on my bike, but it looked like, I have to go back and pay attention, but it looked like they had 6 cases there. Where they had the Tesseract. It looked like they had 6 of them. 6 cases. Why would they need 6 cases? 6 specific cases. So many questions here. So many questions. And also the fact too about Howard Stark and what he said there. And by the way, he changed his looks a lot within a handful of years, right? From Dominic Cooper to the 70s. Anyway. And something interesting that Howard Stark said in there. I'm just like, ooh, I'm not sure how to take what he said. Because Howard Stark is sitting there, and he was talking about being like his wife or something like that when they were in the elevator. And he's like, why that? And he goes, let me just say the greater good has usually never weighed my own self-interest. And it made me think about that wording. It made me think very specifically about that wording. The greater good. The greater good has rarely trumped my own self-interest. And that might actually be a good thing. I gotta tell you, that might actually be a good thing considering the wording and just what was being said right there. I don't know, man. Especially, I've got to say, because of the levels of things that I've already talked about in this movie. A lot of a lot of the good writing and a lot of the great contrast and things that are in this movie. I was sitting there and I heard this line and I'm like, ooh, man, what's up? The greater good. The greater good. That was some heavy stuff, you know what I'm saying? And I'm telling you, I seen this line and I'm sitting like, because that's a very... It makes me think Hydra, okay? And it makes me think a bunch of other things. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? I don't know, man. I'm telling you, I heard that line. I was like, damn, that was deep, man. That was deep, Howard. That was deep, bro. They like I said, they got me deep on that one. I'm like, whew. I'm not sure how to take that line. How do you take that line? Like, seriously. The greater good. The greater good. I don't know, man. I don't know. Anyway, that's that. We all know, you know. But still, they still had those 6 cases there. Why 6 of them? 6 stones, tesseract. They already had. I don't know, man. I don't know. Anyway, and also if you gotta think about it too, when they were back in 2012 and Loki sees the case being kicked around, you know he had to be suspect of everything that was going on there. Like, what the hell? Stark over there? Stark? Eh, what? You know what I mean? Like, you know, later in the series, he's gonna be starting. He's gonna put that like, what was going on right there? What were they doing? You know, he's gonna think about that. You know, when I was also thinking about Captain America, remember the whole Hail Hydra thing, right? And I've thought about this for a while. It's just something I've always forgot to mention. Remember Captain America when he's sitting there fighting himself and he takes and he touches himself with the scepter when they're done fighting? That is America's ass, right? He touched him with the thing right there. The same scepter that Loki was using to turn everybody to basically work for him, and in trying to get, you know, like, harness the tesseract and all that shit. He touched him and like, to me, I mean, could that be our lead, our lead into Hydra Cap? Maybe from that point on, in that future, which is now changed, which is now changed, anyway, okay. So let's get into one other thing. I want to talk about, were mutants mentioned, maybe made mention of, in Avengers Endgame? Let's get in here and see what everybody's. Let's get in here and see what everybody's talking about. Sorry, I went off on a deep one again. There we go. Does Marvel have an equivalent character to Martian Manhunter in the superhero lineup? I'm not familiar with Martian Manhunter, so I couldn't say. Warzone Punisher is garbage. I haven't seen that. So I got to see it. Punisher, Deadpool, and Blade have to be rated R. You could make a PG-13 version of these characters like they do in the comics every week for decades. Well, in a lot of them, they're very graphic and stuff like that. So yeah. And a lot of them do have the warnings on there. They have, you know, the teen and all that stuff. That, yeah, they've got all that stuff on there. I just figure Black Widow's death was so infinite she was unable to come back. But maybe you're right. It could be, yeah. And like I said, just, you know, part of my speculation. Stark is dead. Let's keep it like that. Oh man. Oh, Cap, you're getting right to the heart of me, man. Remember that time? Remember that time Tony flew out of his house in Iron Man 1 without testing anything? Right? Yeah. Well, and that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. Like, he just, I mean, he just puts the shit together and says, "Hey, let's go do it." Fuck it. You know. I think he did the same thing with this with his time travel. Keep dead people dead. Well, I mean, yeah, keep dead people dead. But that's the thing, is he didn't. If that's the case, if he took out an insurance policy, he didn't die. You know what I mean? That's the thing, is he didn't die. In that case, it's a different alternate version of him, and he didn't die. So it's not that you're bringing people back from the dead, and it's not that you're changing the future. You just basically brought in a doppelganger to do your shit, and that's it. Bam, and you're still alive. They're gone, and hey, you know. In that case, he never died. You know what I mean? And that's the whole tricky thing too. That's the work. I mean, hey, I don't work there. I'm just saying that would be the whole workaround. Is you got somebody there who is, you know, like you, but another you from another alternate universe that's not going to make a shit to your universe. Bring him back, and you didn't die, not dead, didn't bring anybody back from the dead. If so facto, you know, Machiavelli, right? Tupac lives. Ollie's Blade character might be homosexual. Maybe, I don't know. Hard to say. Hard to say. And the thing is, like, when a lot of people talk about that stuff, is like, for one, they don't need to do that. two, um, in the most for the most part, when they do that kind of stuff, it don't matter because we don't see these people having sex and making love on screen. You know, we barely ever see people kiss. Cap and Peggy, Cap and Cap and Sharon, Tony and Pepper. But for the most part, we don't see a whole lot of that kind of affection on screen anyway. So, I mean, if they did that, to what extent are we even going to see that? If anything, they're probably just going to say something. They're just going to say something. I don't know. Could be wrong, you know, because we are going to get that first kiss in Eternals, right? Otherwise, deaths were a slap in the face. I cried already. Don't take that from me. Yeah, but that's the thing is like, what if like he's not dead in that scenario? I will make an entire video for my YouTube page talking about why Warzone is a dumpster fire trash. Do it, do it, do it. What movie would you rather? Would you rather Namor debuting first, the Eternals or Black Panther? Well, if he's gonna be in the Eternals, I almost have a feeling that might be a post-credit thing. But I mean, I don't see why not Black Panther. Yeah, Black Panther makes. I mean, it does make the most sense. Yeah, even Black Man in Office says, kind of thinks that too. I love that movie. I even went to the theater to watch it and fell asleep. I watched it on DVD and fell asleep. Finally, seen it on cable and seen why I fell asleep. I'll stop. Oh man, that's funny. Maybe Tony Stark stored his consciousness in the nanotechnology before the snap. Oh yeah, I'm sure that's already happened. I'm dead sure of that. I'm dead sure of that. I'm dead sure that's already happened. I mean, look what Zola did, and I mean, Arnim Zola already done that, and we already know that Tony Stark just basically appropriates all of Dr. Arnim Zola's work. So Stark did it already because Arnim Zola already did it. Hashtag Hail Hydra. But yeah, that's already done. That's a done deal. We need more. We need more Hammer. Bring that guy back. Oh yeah, absolutely. Justin Hammer. Yes, we need more. Oh man, Sam Rockwell. I love Sam Rockwell, dude. He's great. Killmonger was resurrected 4 times in the Black Panther series. Jesus, man, that's crazy. Yes to Rockwell. Yes. No, man, Stark is dead. I don't know. Killmonger is alive right now. Yeah. If they do alternate realities, then it needs to be different characters. Not necessarily. Not necessarily, because I mean, you think there's different versions of every. I mean, but there's also same versions as well. Just things a little bit different. When it comes right down to it. Second Street, in your opinion, do you believe Moon Knight TV series is successful? You think he can work as a PG-13 movie, or would he have to be rated R? I'm not familiar enough with the character. To say, but I mean, you can push the envelope with a PG-13, but it just depends on what level of violence there is. To be honest with you, because like I said, Punisher violence is bang bang, shoot 'em up, gun violence, lots of blood everywhere. You know, I can see Stark doing that so he can live a normal life like Cap did. I mean, absolutely. I mean, he even said. I mean, every implication in the movie is that he would take out an insurance policy to make sure that he don't die. I mean, he specifically said that when they went to him talking about the stuff in the first place. He's like, I can't risk that. He's like, I can't risk it, and he don't have to risk it. That's the thing. He don't have to risk it at all. And he knows that. He knows that. Trinity. I know you're a true fan. It'll be philosopher, right? Moon Knight is another PG-13 character who would be tough to turn into a PG-13 character. Let's see. Disney owns Fox. They should use them to release their Marvel Knights R-rated movies. Yeah. I mean, I wouldn't see why not. I actually had the UK Ultimate cut of that movie. Oh, which movie? Oh, okay, yeah, the Harry Potter. Twopocalypse now, still down with the underground. Yeah, Pope Cerebus, there you go. Marvel Knights was rated parental advisory appropriate for 15 and up. All right, yeah, but I mean, in some countries, 15 and up is isn't that 15 and up is what they basically go for rated R anyway. I think. I could be wrong there. I could be wrong. Um, Star Lord and Gamora. But yeah, I was gonna say 15 and up is a lot different though than 13 PG-13. Certainly. Uh, like I've let my kids see rated R movies, but I have like I'm a little more cautious right now. But my kids are younger. My kids are younger though still. But I'm also not that worried about this stuff. Ain't have a sex scene in the MCU since Iron Man, if I can remember. Right, right. Iron Man 2 was there? None? Yeah, I think you're right. I think it was Iron Man 1. Lonely Banter, you might be right on that one. Yeah, yeah. Tony Stark's I got pepper in my face. Iron Man, no worries. Fuck it, I will. Yeah, do it, Lavis. Is this your new permanent setup? I'm kind of adjusting things. I'm adjusting things. Actual sex scene in the MCU? No. Yeah, just illusions. Yeah. But he wanted the biscuit. Batman, you ain't seen the Iron Man uncut? Tony Stan, Tony standing Iron Man. The reporter something serious. Yeah. That's Pornhub video. Iron Man, the real Man of Steel. He's got a nano condom. He's got a nano condom. They're going full Batman here. They're going full Batman. Second Street. I kind of hope when they do the Ghost Rider movie, I hope they bring back Gabriel Luna as Robbie. That won't happen. As Robbie Reyes for Ghost Rider in the MCU. Not that won't happen. Yeah, I mean that's pretty much outside of Kevin Feige's reach and everything. It's out of his universe, if you will. Yeah, that won't happen. Would it be cool? Yeah, I thought Gabriel Luna as Robbie Reyes in the Agents of Shield series was good. I liked it. I actually that was some of the best stuff in there. In the Agents of Shield stuff was the Gabriel Luna Robbie Reyes, but I don't think so. I don't think they'll bring that back in the MCU. I don't think they would, but it would be cool. I do like that character. Okay, now guys, let's get into, were mutants maybe mentioned in Avengers Endgame? I was watching that stupid scene, right? Because everything that happens in the MCU, all these deep cuts and things like that happen for stuff that are like, how would you say, hints at stuff to come in the MCU. They all seem to come out of these little nonchalant moments, things just mentioned in conversation, just conversations people are having. These big things kind of mentioned here, and I was thinking there's this silly interaction in Avengers Endgame where Hulk is there in the diner. They're talking to him about this time heist and everything, and he's talking to him about it. And he's sitting there talking about putting the brains to the brawn. 18 months in the Gamma Lab. He says, I used to think of Hulk as the what does he say? I used to think of Hulk as a, what is it? Did he say as a disease or something like that? I can't remember exactly how he put it. He says, but then I started to think of him as basically as the cure, right? I used to think of it as a curse, and now I think it's the cure. And maybe that right there is a hint at the X-Men, the mutants in the MCU. Because I was sitting there thinking about it. I'm like, that's kind of what is going on with mutantdom as well. Where the some people out there think that the mutants are the natural evolutionary thing, like what they have. A lot of the mutants look at their gifts, if you will, as a curse, But then like especially like in the X-Men comics right now, they're looking at maybe the X gene as the cure to things. So it made me start thinking about that a little bit. 18 months in the Gamma Lab. 18 months in the Gamma Lab. How long was he? How long was he smart Hulk like that for? You know what I mean? When he made that fusion, because he said 18 months for them to do that, and then there was 5 years that gap. Was it the 18 months right after Avengers Infinity War? right after they killed Thanos, or was it like the 18 months prior to, just right before we seen him in Endgame? You know what I mean? There's a difference there. You got 5 years, 18 months of that. Was it at the beginning of those 5 years, or was it in the middle of those 5 years? Was it the end of those 5 years? Anyway, but I started thinking about that, where he was talking about his about the gamma rays and the radiation and all that. It kind of started making me think about that. He's like, I used to think of it as the curse, and then I started thinking about it as the cure, and then that's what started to make me really think about maybe that being more of a hint at the mutants in the MCU, and maybe bringing back what happened with Dr. List and all of those guys when they were experimenting on Wanda and Pietro in the first place. Maybe they were already mutants. Maybe what they were doing only actually triggered their mutation when they were messing with them with the scepter and all of that stuff. Maybe they only triggered the mutation in them at that time. With the scepter. You know what I mean? And maybe that's what we come to find out is maybe they were actually mutants the whole time. Maybe they weren't just special and just made changed by the scepter. Maybe that's what we come to find out, and it's all somehow kind of interrelated with things like that. But I don't know. I don't know. But I was sitting there listening to that in Avengers Endgame. I'm like, it makes me wonder if that was a hint at mutants in the MCU, because it sounded very, it's very insinuating of that, very insinuating of that same situation, and it made me kind of wonder if maybe that is an actual hint at mutants in the MCU. Um, Shrink tubing. I must have missed something there. With the shrink tubing part. Anthony Mazzano says, actually, you made a mistake, Second Street. Technically, Disney owns ABC, so they can use Robbie Reyes. I didn't make a mistake. I didn't make a mistake there, Anthony, because I didn't say that Disney didn't own ABC or that. I said it's not part of the MCU. It's not part of Kevin Feige's thing. Okay? So, yeah, I mean, sorry, Anthony, but I didn't make a mistake there. Because I know that Disney owns ABC and all that stuff. But while they had crossovers originally in the first season, I can't remember if anything was actually in the second season. I have to go back and check that out. That's not part of Kevin Feige's MCU. It's just not. In no way has he insinuated that it is, aside from that little bit of crossover that they did. But yeah, no. So I mean, no, I didn't. There was no mistake made there, because it's technically not really it's really not canon to the MCU. LB says Iron Man. Have a good day, Vlad. You have a good one as well. Thank you. Second Street, who's the smarter superhero in your opinion? Richards, Tony Stark, or Bruce Banner? Well, obviously, in this case, it's got to be Reed Richards, because Tony Stark. Well, if we're talking MCU anyway, in the comic books, a little bit different story, but even then, it's still Reed Richards. It's still Reed Richards over Tony Stark. Definitely. And Bruce Banner, I mean, I mean, these three right here, Reed Richards, Tony Stark, and Bruce Banner, they are amongst some of the smartest out there. But I would say Reed Richards, totally. Totally. LB says, bro, really got theories. He could be the next emergency awesome. Yeah, and that's what I'm saying. Like, I'm telling you, I see all these things. I'm just like, oh, I don't know, man. I'm telling you. And believe me when I say these things keep me awake at night sometimes. Disney owns all of us, right? I actually own Disney, kinda. Got stock. There you go. Got stock. Don't have that controlling interest, but hey, they still got to answer to you, dang it. Fatal J says, dope Iron Man. You like that? You like that? Ding. Yeah, man. I actually got this shirt for Father's Day from my oldest daughter when she was just a baby. So basically, my wife went out and got it for me and gave it to me, saying that it was from my daughter. But I think that was because the first one of the first movies that I took her to see. Oh my god! Oh my god! I'm gonna get COVID-19. I touched my face with my hand, and I didn't just wash and sanitize my hand right before I touched my face. Anyway, but my daughter got this for me, because the first movie I took her to when she was born was God, would that have been Iron Man 3? Would that have been Iron Man 3? Because it was in she was born in 2010. She was born in 2010. Yeah, because Iron Man 1 and 2 would have been out by that point, I think. 2008. It might have been Iron Man 2. It might have been Iron Man 2. I have to check that out. But yeah, that was the first movie that I ever took her to. Wait a minute, not that app. Certainly not that one. It was the first movie I ever took her to. So that's where I got the shirt at. Let's see. It might have been Iron Man 2. It might have been Iron Man 2. Cause yeah, that came out in 2010, and she was born in February. So yeah, it was probably that one. But yeah, that's where I got it from. Yeah, it's a pretty nice one. Got that old school Stark armor, man. I like that old school Iron Man. Hank Pym is the smartest. Yeah, I was gonna say Hank Pym is genius too. He's definitely right up there with Reed and Stark. I would put Pym over Stark too. I would put Pym over Stark too. I would say one thing that puts Stark kind of above those guys is he's got the funding. He's the rich guy. He's the billionaire. Um, let's see. Reed Richards does have the highest IQ of Earth's heroes. Yeah, I was gonna say, and I would imagine he does. How do you not know I have controlling style? Oh, do you, LB? Dang, I didn't know, man. I didn't know. LB is the person demanding game blade. He's the one that would be. Imagine if they did that. They did. Blade the gay blade. Remember they did that Zorro the gay blade. Oh man, that's hilarious. Oh dude, that freaking hilarious. Second straight question. Besides Cassie Lang, are any of the other Young Avengers kids of original Avengers? Honestly, I'm not very familiar with that either. As far as the Young Avengers, I'm not very familiar with that. Moon Girl has the highest IQ. Then Brainstorm and then Reed. Oh, oh, really, really. LB says aggressively. I want Blade to have glossy lips with sparkles all over his face. Yes, almost like Edward Norton. Gary North, thank you so much for being here. Pope Cerebus says sparkly vampire hunter. Yes, yeah, yeah. Yeah, George Hamilton. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, Zorro, the gay blade. Hilarious stuff. Um, but anyway, guys, I don't know. I guess that's all I've got. I was doing that Avengers, and I didn't finish Avengers Endgame. I didn't finish my rewatch of it, but yeah, I just some of those things that I kind of picked out when I was rewatching it yesterday. But anyway, guys, that's all I have for today's morning movie chat. As I was watching just some of the stuff I was noticing in Avengers Endgame. But also, guys, make sure if you're not already, make sure you're subscribed. Make sure you check the links down in the description there, where you can go, and if you'd like, you can always send direct donations via Streamlabs. But I get it, times are tight right now. But you can also check out my Patreon. Go check out my Patreon page. There's stuff over there for you to check out, even if you're not a paying supporter of the Patreon. There's some videos over there you can go and watch absolutely for free. You don't have to be a Patreon supporter. Go check it out. Good stuff. But go check out my Patreon page as well. I do greatly appreciate it. Thank you all so much for being here. Make sure you guys are tuned in, because you guys know tonight, it's Friday, April 10th. And you know what Fridays mean? It's time for the Trailer Park Live tonight at 8 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. Make sure you're there. Check your local listings. You all have a very good day, and we'll see you tonight on the Trailer Park Live. Later. Oh, man, why didn't it change? It's supposed to change, man. It's supposed to change. So then we go, yeah.